Big news in the cruise world today. Hurricane-force winds wreaked havoc at a major cruise port, rocking 2 ships in the process. This morning, the storm hit Split, Croatia, with winds reaching over 87 pf, enough to classify it as a Category 1 hurricane. The chaos unfolded quickly as the storm rolled in, with heavy hail and flooding disrupting the entire port area. Incredibly, one ferry broke loose and collided with a tourist boat, sinking it, but thankfully everyone on board survived. At the time, 2 cruise ships, the Mela Explorer and Mela Explorer 2, were docked at the port. Fortunately, no injuries have been reported among passengers, but with the port schedule jam-packed in the coming days, the real question is, how will this storm impact future sailings? Stay tuned as we dive into what happened next and how it's shaking up the cruise industry. As the storm hit Split, Croatia, this morning the situation quickly escalated into a full-blown crisis at the cruise port. With hurricane-force winds clocking in at over 87 mph, the port found itself caught in the throes of a Category 1 hurricane. The damage was significant. Flooding, large hail, and the sheer force of the winds wreaked havoc on everything in sight. It wasn't just the port's infrastructure that felt the brunt of the storm. A ferry that had been docked at the port broke loose and collided with a tourist boat, causing the boat to sink. Thankfully, this situation could have been much worse, but miraculously, everyone on board the tourist boat survived the ordeal. 2 cruise ships were docked at the port when the storm hit. The Mela Explorer and Mela Explorer 2 were caught off guard, right in the heart of the storm. But here's the good news. Despite the chaos and the intense weather, there were no injuries reported among the passengers of those ships. Both ships have since departed the port after the storm subsided, continuing with their scheduled itineraries, though not without some lingering concerns. The question on everyone's mind is, what will happen to future sailings at this port? The port in Split is a major hub, with upcoming visits from a number of prestigious cruise lines including Royal Caribbean, Norwegian Cruise Line, Celebrity Cruises, and Oceania Cruises. The schedule is jam-packed with several ships expected to dock in the coming days, and with the damage sustained from today's storm, there is uncertainty over how many of these sailings will be affected. The real question here is whether this disruption will result in delays or cancellations, and how the ports will manage the aftermath. With large-scale flooding and potential damage to docking infrastructure, we may see some rerouted sailings, delays, or even alternate ports being used in the interim while repairs are made. As of now, details on any changes to upcoming sailings are sparse, and the cruise lines are monitoring the situation closely. The storm in Croatia is a reminder of how unpredictable the weather can be, and how vital it is for cruise lines to be prepared for such emergencies. Weather disruptions, like storms or hurricanes, aren't something that can be planned for, and when they hit, cruise lines must work swiftly to ensure the safety of all passengers and crew members. Experts say, on lookout for Armuk in Kentucky, the most dangerous of all the states of the US. While Split was dealing with the immediate effects of the storm, the cruise industry is also facing other challenges. On the other side of the world, the Royal Caribbean's Serenade of the Seas had its own issues this week. After setting sail from Vancouver on a 7-day voyage to Alaska, the ship had to return to port just 2 hours after embarkation due to engine issues. After sitting in port for nearly a day, the ship was cleared to continue, but it had to skip its first planned stop in Seeker, Alaska. This is not the first mechanical issue the Serenade of the Seas has faced. Last week, propulsion problems forced it to skip a stop at Icy Strait Point and forego a full day of scenic cruising. Despite these mechanical setbacks, the Serenade of the Seas finally got back on track, but it's an unfortunate situation for passengers who were excited about the itinerary. These issues emphasize just how complicated managing a cruise ship can be. Whether it's weather problems or mechanical failures, cruise lines must be nimble and reactive, often having to make difficult decisions that impact passengers' experiences. As the cruise industry grapples with these challenges, one thing remains clear: the experience of cruising is far from predictable. While some aspects like the stunning destinations and luxurious amenities are relatively stable, weather, mechanical issues, and unforeseen events always have the potential to disrupt the best-laid plans. For passengers, it's important to remember that these disruptions, while frustrating, are often unavoidable, and the safety of everyone on board is always the top priority. And as much as the cruise industry works to mitigate these issues, the truth is that the weather can be an unpredictable force. The recent storm in Croatia was just one example of nature's unpredictability, and it's a reminder that cruising, while a popular and enjoyable form of travel, does come with its own set of risks. Weather systems can change in an instant, and it's not always possible to predict when they will cause disruption. With all that said, this is a crucial time for cruise lines to be transparent with their passengers. As we've seen in both the storm in Croatia and the mechanical issues with the Serenade of the Seas, communication is key. Passengers want to know what's happening, when they can expect updates, and what their options are if things go awry. Cruise lines must maintain clear, timely communication to help reduce confusion and frustration among their guests. At the end of the day, whether it's dealing with the aftermath of a powerful storm or addressing mechanical setbacks, cruise lines are doing their best to keep everything running smoothly. Passengers who find themselves in the middle of these unexpected situations should remember that these challenges are part of the broader cruise experience. When you embark on a cruise, you're essentially signing up for an adventure, and just like any adventure, things may not always go as planned. In the aftermath of today's storm in Split, we'll have to wait and see how the cruise lines handle the situation and what changes, if any, will be made to upcoming sailings. For now, all we can do is stay tuned for updates and hope that the next storm or disruption doesn't interfere with our next vacation at sea.